Good morning, metalheads of the internet, and welcome to a brand new episode of the Metal Meltdown. Today we are talking about the latest studio album from Vulvodynia entitled Entabeni. This is the fifth full-length studio album from this brutal death metal and deathcore crew hailing from South Africa. I first came to know them through the release of their previous studio album, Praenuntius Infinity, back in 2021. I thought it was alright. It was brutal. It had some gnarly, sick little beats and riffs and such. Not gonna lie, kind of forgot about it shortly afterwards. Never really bothered to check out their other stuff. And as such, this new Vulvodynia album was not really high on my radar. In fact, it also wasn't really on my radar at all. And in fact, I didn't know it existed until like a week ago. But once I did know that it existed and that it was on the way, I wanted to check it out for a couple of reasons. The first of which being that this is kind of a dry July here. And I'm not just saying that because the LCBO is on strike. There's a supreme lack of like big name metal releases coming out these next few weeks. So I figured, screw it. Let's diversify. Let's try something new. I still enjoy talking about music, and that's the important part after all. But also, and perhaps more importantly, and in context of an album review, in context of actually talking about a band and an album, it sounds like Vulvodynia are at their most comfortable and confident moment ever as a band yet. As the band explains in a press release, Entabeni is a very important album for us. It sees us at crossroads in our career. We fully embrace the idea of writing as a collective, exploring each member's ideas, experiences, and form them all together to create what we think is our most ambitious album. We wanted to explore the concept of African folklore on this album and based a lot of the songs off of old stories found in poems, books, and even through word of mouth from our vocalist Lwandile's older family members. And on top of all this, I can tell you that now that I've heard the album and spent a good amount of time with it, musically, too, there's a lot more going on. There's a lot more scope and scale and dimension to everything. There are some synthesizer elements and some subtle orchestral elements here and there, tribal rhythmic passages and arrangements and different kind of vocal dynamics, special guests as well from Peeling Flesh, Body Snatcher, Signs of the Swarm. The riffs are more varied, the production is tighter, and the guitar tones are juicier and meatier, and the drums are louder and more thunderous. The aforementioned Lwandile as well, full name Lwandile Prusent, is stepping things up as well, handling vocals and guitar on this album. And all of these elements and ideas and these changes having been made are all, in my opinion at least, for the best. This is a much more memorable and entertaining record than Praenuntius Infinity, and it is definitely fair to say that this is their most ambitious record yet, and at least out of everything I've heard, which granted isn't a lot, but nonetheless, maybe their best album yet. Maybe. I don't know. I might have to go back and listen to some of their other stuff first before I make that claim. So, yeah. But still, you've got the double whammy of Imbawula and Deviltree opening this bad boy on a pretty strong, haunting, cinematic, brutal note with tribal chanting and different rhythmic passages and samples and atmospheric textures, paving the way for big, chunky, burly barrages of brutal death metal and deathcore riffery, some over-the-top guitar shredding pyrotechnics as well, some super sharp, fast-paced, almost like mid-2000s Black Dahlia Murder-esque melodeath riffage popping up in Deviltree as well, with some very sneering, venomous, guttural vocals and screaming vocals. There's some subtle synths here and there, some pretty devastating churning grooves, and some more zany, sweeping guitar passages as well. Then there's the Randlord, which is filled with some super satisfying, bouncy, chunky, groovy riffs and beats, some super sick, sluggish beatdowns as well near the very end. It's got a lot of energy, a lot of momentum. It just makes you want to, like, bang your head and jump up and down and maybe push somebody and maybe break something, you know? It just feels fun. It's just cool, you know? Get you hyped up, get you energized and shit. Mam Lambo has got to be one of my favorites, though. It genuinely just goes stupidly hard. It's filled with so many different harmonics and tones and, like, squealing sound effects. combined with these super chunky, ballsy grooves, and it just like brings to mind like classic Gojira mixed with deathcore, or I guess even a band like Fit for an Autopsy. And as it goes on, it's able to integrate some really sinister guitar-driven melodicism and tons of blast beats and more sneering vocals, and it just feels like genuinely like fucking evil, you know? Then there's the collab tracks, Isan Luanda, Atamaster, the title track, Entabeni. These are all really cool as well. The best of the bunch, though, is the title track, Entabeni. It's like the most action-packed of the bunch. With so many different guitar parts and melodies and solos and crushing dynamic riffs and so many different hard-hitting percussive assaults and some more epic synth orchestral-ish arrangements. That one riff that gets introduced at like the 1 minute 50 second mark especially, that's sick. That's gnarly. I like that a lot. The closing track, Generational Segregation, is a real showstopper though. The most dramatic and urgent and poignant moment on the record. You have some more of those super groovy, squealing Gojira-esque guitars and churning rhythms with some really like progressive, hyper-technical guitar and bass shredding and interplay. The way that these melodies and arrangements and instruments all kind of like wind and curve and go up and down, it's genuinely pretty dazzling. And lyrically, too, this thing is potent and vicious. Vulvodynia are going straight for the jugular, with lines like, "Welcome to the rotting city of gold, where man is created more equal than man. The effects of the past have been ripped and buried from the books, and the blame has been placed on the victims oppressed. Who could have guessed? A child disadvantaged at birth and must carve out a path of murder or enslavement. What choice do they have? Generational segregation." Like, goddamn, Vulvodynia. God damn, I did not know you had that in you. Anna, did you know that they had that in them?
No, I didn't know.
I didn't know either. Chompy, did you know? Where's Chompy?
He's on the bed.
He's on the bed? Oh, is he sleeping then?
Maybe.
Oh, shit.
He's alive.
Oh, shit. All right. I'm going to assume that he did not know. Or maybe he did. He's kind of cool like that. I'm feeling a solid 4 to 5 on this bad boy. Vulvodynia did a great job with this album. It is, out of everything I've heard at least, my favorite, their most ambitious record. I would also maybe go as far as to say that out of everything I've heard from the deathcore realms, this is the best I've heard so far this year. I mean, that might not be saying a lot, because I feel like deathcore has been, like, pretty underwhelming for the most part in 2024, but, yeah, still, I'm willing to make that argument, and I've spoken to a couple other people who would maybe be willing to make that argument, so, yeah. I don't know, I'm gonna throw it out there and we'll just see what happens. We'll see how people respond. Vulvodynia's comfort and confidence in their material and in themselves shows all the way through. The record can be thought-provoking and obviously quite punishing and brutal, but it's still genuinely really fun. It's still hype as fuck. It still goes hard. I personally recommend this highly. I look forward to seeing how Vulvodynia expand upon this album in the future, where they continue to take this sound, how they continue to grow and evolve. 4 to 5, solid 4 to 5 at that. It's great. Maybe best deathcore album of the year. I don't know. I'm feeling it though. I'm kind of feeling that. I kind of stand by it. So yeah, cool. All right then. And that is it for the Metal Meltdown. I am not an expert, nor do I claim to be. So what do you think? Do you like this record? Do you not like this record? And what do you want to hear from me next? And thank you for watching. Make sure you press subscribe right here so you get updates on the Metal Meltdown fucking immediately. Look, there's more videos here. And as always, you have yourself a fantastic fucking day.